The stars were silent, cold, endless. In that silence, a broken ship drifted, its body torn, fire still glowing in the black sky. Among the floating wreckage, only one life remained, a young human scientist named Ian. He opened his eyes slowly. His head hurt. His body was shaking. For a moment, he thought he was dead, but the burning pain in his chest told him otherwise. He was alive, but not safe. The ship around him was gone. The last thing he remembered was an explosion, alarms screaming, metal tearing apart. His mission to study deep space had turned into a nightmare. As Ian tried to move, a strange light filled the darkness. It was not sunlight, not starlight. It was something different. The light pulled him in, wrapping around him like invisible hands. He wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The next thing he knew, Ian was lying on a hard, glowing floor. His breath was heavy, his vision blurred. Slowly, he realized this was not his ship. The walls were smooth and alive, glowing with strange patterns. The air smelled sharp, metallic, but breathable. Then he heard it. A sound, not a voice, not a machine, something in between. It echoed through the room like music, but broken and strange. Ian pushed himself up, his heart racing. He was not alone. From the shadows, shapes appeared, tall figures with long limbs, skin shining like crystal under the light. Their eyes were large, glowing faintly, watching him with deep curiosity. They moved with silence, like the air itself carried them. For the first time in his life, Ian was standing face to face with beings from another world. Fear struck him. He wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. He wanted to speak, but his voice froze. He could only watch as the aliens surrounded him. One of them stepped closer, its hand stretched out, not in attack, but as if to study him. The alien touched the floor, and instantly the glowing walls shifted, forming strange symbols in the air. Ian stared, confused. It was a language, but not one he could read. The aliens began to murmur in their strange voices. They pointed at him, their eyes narrowing, then widening. Some of them bowed their heads, as if in respect. Others looked tense, even afraid. Ian whispered to himself, "What do they want from me?" But of course, no one answered. Minutes passed like hours. The aliens did not hurt him. They did not lock him up. Instead, they kept watching, as if he was not a prisoner, but something far more important. Then the crowd parted. A new figure entered the room. This one was different, taller, older. Its body shimmered with golden light, and its eyes burned with wisdom. The other aliens lowered their heads as it walked past them. Clearly, this was a leader. The alien elder stopped in front of Ian. For a long moment, it only stared at him. The silence was heavy. The air itself felt thicker, as if the walls were waiting to hear what would happen next. Then, with a deep, echoing voice, the elder spoke in the alien tongue. The words were impossible for Ian to understand, but the reaction was not. The entire group of aliens suddenly dropped to their knees. Ian's heart skipped a beat. His hands shook. He took a step back, confused, terrified. Why are they doing this?" he whispered. The elder raised its arm and pointed directly at Ian. The golden light around its body grew brighter, filling the chamber. Ian could feel it in his chest, like something powerful was reaching inside him. His body trembled. His mind screamed with questions. What had they seen in him? Why were they treating him like this? And then the thought hit him like lightning. These aliens, they believed he was something more than just a lost human. Something greater. Something their world had been waiting for. But Ian knew the truth. He was no savior. He was no hero. He was just a man who had survived an accident. And yet, here he stood, at the center of a mystery he could not escape. As the aliens bowed before him, the elder spoke once more. The words shook the walls like thunder. Ian did not understand the language, but he understood the weight of it. He was not a guest. He was not a prisoner. He had become something else. Something he was not ready to be. The lights dimmed. The aliens rose slowly, their glowing eyes locked on him. In that moment, Ian felt it, their fear, their hope, their belief. All of it was pressing down on him like a mountain. He wanted to shout, to tell them they were wrong, that he was no leader, no chosen one. But his voice was lost in his throat. The silence returned, heavy, endless. And deep inside, Ian realized the most terrifying truth. He was no longer lost in space. He was lost among aliens. And they had already decided his stand was only just beginning. The chamber was gone. When Ian opened his eyes again, he was no longer in the glowing room. He was inside something bigger, much bigger. The floor beneath his feet was smooth, shining like glass. Around him stretched endless towers, tall, sharp, and glowing with colors he had never seen before. The air shimmered with faint energy, and strange flying shapes passed overhead, silent as shadows. Ian's heart pounded. He had never seen a city like this. It was alive, floating in the sky like a dream. Aliens walked everywhere, their tall forms moving gracefully, their crystal-like skin catching the light of the towers. But something was wrong. Something heavy hung in the air. As Ian stepped forward, silence followed him. Every alien that saw him stopped. Their glowing eyes widened. Some tilted their heads in wonder. Others lowered themselves, bowing slightly. Mothers pulled their young ones closer. Warriors held their weapons but did not raise them. The whole city was watching him. Ian swallowed hard. Why are they looking at me like this? He had never felt more out of place. He was a human, a stranger, lost in a world that was not his own. And yet, here he was, standing in the middle of a civilization that seemed to treat him as something sacred. Suddenly, a group of armored aliens approached. Their armor shone like dark glass, their eyes burning with cold fire. They formed a circle around him, guiding him forward. They did not touch him, but their message was clear. Come with us. Ian walked, though every step fell heavier. The streets were silent, only the sound of his own heartbeat filling his ears. The silence of the city was worse than any noise. It was a silence of judgment, of expectation. Finally, the soldiers led him to a great platform. It was open to the sky, high above the floating city. From there, Ian could see everything. The towers, the glowing rivers of light, the endless horizon of clouds. And waiting for him on the platform were more aliens. Hundreds of them. Leaders, elders, warriors, all gathered. At the center stood the elder who had first spoken to him, the one who had pointed at him as if he were chosen. The elder raised a hand. The crowd fell into perfect silence. Then, with a deep voice, the elder spoke. The words rolled like thunder, full of weight and command. Ian could not understand, but he felt it. This was no ordinary speech. This was a declaration. And then it happened. The glowing walls of the platform lit up with shifting symbols. They rose into the air, floating like fireflies. Ian stared. The symbols twisted, changed, and then he could almost recognize them. One word, a single word that the system had somehow translated into English. Savior. Ian froze. His blood turned cold. He wanted to shout, to deny it, to tell them he was no savior. But before he could, something else happened. From the edge of the crowd, an alien warrior pushed forward. Its body armor gleamed, and in its hand was a blade that shone with blue fire. The warrior's eyes burned with anger. Before anyone could stop it, the warrior lunged straight at Ian. Ian's breath caught. He had no weapon, no way to defend himself. He raised his arms, waiting for the strike. But then, something impossible happened. The blade froze in the air, not because of the warrior, not because of Ian's hands. It was as if the air itself had turned solid. The weapon hung inches from his chest, unable to move. The entire platform shook with whispers and gasps. The aliens looked at him, their glowing eyes wide with awe and fear. Ian stared at his own trembling hands. He had not touched the blade. He had not moved it. But something around him, or within him, had stopped it. The warrior fell back, struggling, then dropped to its knees. The crowd erupted in voices, some chanting, others arguing. The word Savior burned bright in the air, repeated again and again. Ian's heart raced. His mind screamed, "What is happening to me?" He wanted to believe it was a trick, that the aliens had planned this. But deep inside, he knew it was real. The elder stepped forward again. Its golden light shone brighter, and its eyes locked with Ian's. "You are not just a man," the elder's voice echoed in broken, half-translated words. "You are the one we waited for." Ian shook his head violently. No, I'm not. You don't understand. I'm just human. I'm just lost." But his protest was swallowed by the roar of the crowd. The city trembled with voices, with belief, with fear. And as the sky above darkened with storm clouds, Ian realized something far more terrifying than being lost. He was no longer just a survivor. He had become the center of a prophecy he did not believe in. And every eye in the silent city was waiting for him to take a stand. The city was not silent anymore. Ian could feel it the moment he was taken back from the platform. The glowing streets that once stared at him with silence now hummed with noise, voices, whispers, shouts. The aliens were no longer united. They were divided. Some believed he was truly the savior from the prophecy. Others believed he was a danger, a curse that would destroy them. The tension was heavy in the air, like a storm waiting to break. And Ian was at the center of it. He sat in a chamber made of crystal walls, guarded by soldiers who never blinked. His thoughts ran wild. His hands still shook when he remembered the blade that froze in the air. How did that happen? He asked himself. It wasn't me. It couldn't be me. But no matter how hard he tried to deny it, the truth burned in his mind. Something had happened. Something impossible. Suddenly, a sharp sound filled the chamber. The walls lit up, and images appeared like a living memory. Ian gasped. He was seeing visions, flashes of alien soldiers fighting battles in a burning sky. Giant machines clashing, cities collapsing, rivers of fire. The visions were not his. They belonged to someone else, or something else. His chest burned as if something inside him was alive. Ian pressed his hand against the glowing wall, and the vision vanished. His breath came fast. He looked at the soldiers guarding him, but they showed no reaction. "Why me?" he whispered. "Why are they putting this inside me?" That night, or what he thought was night, the chamber opened. A figure stepped inside. It was not armored, not a soldier. It was a young alien, smaller than the others, its crystal-like skin glowing softly. Its eyes carried no anger, only kindness. It spoke in a quiet voice. The words were broken, half understood, but clear enough. "You see visions?" "Yes." Ian froze. This alien knew. He nodded slowly. "Yes, I saw war, burning cities, death." The young alien lowered its head. "Because war is coming again." Ian's heart sank. "What war?" The alien looked at him with sadness. "Our world is broken. Two sides. Both want you. Both believe you are prophecy. You must choose." The words hit Ian like a blade. Choose? How could he choose between two alien factions he did not even understand? How could he take a side in a war that wasn't his? "I don't want this," he whispered. "I'm not a savior. I'm not even supposed to be here. I just want to go home." The alien stepped closer. "Home? Far. Too far. Only way to live is to stand." Before Ian could answer, alarms echoed through the city. The chamber walls shook, and the guards rushed out. The young alien's glow flickered with fear. "The war," it whispered. "It begins." Ian followed, his legs trembling. Outside, the sky above the floating city had turned black. Strange ships moved in the clouds, their bodies sharp like knives, their engines glowing red. The city below roared with chaos. Factions of aliens clashed in the streets, one side raising banners of light, the other carrying weapons of shadow. Energy bolts tore through the towers. Crystals shattered. The silent city was no longer silent. The guards grabbed Ian, pulling him back toward safety. But in the chaos, lightning struck the ground near him. The force threw him aside. When Ian stood, dazed, he saw a figure in the storm. It was tall, cloaked in shadows, its eyes burning like coals. Unlike the others, this alien was different, darker, older, filled with power. The figure spoke, and this time the words were clear, translated somehow inside Ian's mind. "Human, you don't belong here." Ian's blood ran cold. "Who are you?" The figure stepped closer, storm swirling around it. "I am the truth your saviors hide. You are not their prophecy. You are their weapon." Iron shook his head. No, that's not true. The shadow's voice thundered. You carry something inside you. Not yours. Not human. They put it there, to use you. And when the war ends, so will you. Iron stumbled back, his chest burning again, the same fire from the visions. He could feel it pulsing, alive, angry. No, he whispered. I won't let them control me. The figure's eyes glowed brighter. Then learn to control yourself, or everything you touch will burn. Before Iron could speak again, lightning flashed. The figure was gone. Only the storm remained. The guards rushed to his side, pulling him back to the chamber. But Iron's mind was no longer the same. The visions, the war, the voice in the storm. He was no longer sure if he was only a lost human or something far more dangerous. And deep inside, one terrifying thought grew stronger. The hidden war was not only between the aliens, it was inside him too. The storm outside had not ended. The silent city trembled with chaos, explosions in the sky, fire on the towers, cries from every street. Iron could feel the city breaking apart, piece by piece. And in the middle of it, he felt more lost than ever. The young alien, the healer who had spoken kindly to him before, returned to his chamber. Its glow was dim, its steps quick, as if carrying a heavy secret. You must leave, it whispered urgently. Tonight. Iron's eyes widened. Leave? Where? The city is burning. The healer placed its crystal hand on his shoulder. Not safe here. Leaders fight. Both want you. They do not see man. They see weapon. The word stabbed Iron's chest. Deep inside, he already knew it was true. Ever since he arrived, the elders had not seen him as a person. They had seen him as a prophecy. A tool. The healer looked at him with glowing eyes full of regret. I will help. For the first time since the crash, Iron felt a flicker of trust. This alien was different. It was gentle, honest. Maybe, just maybe, it was a friend. That night, under the cover of smoke and fire, the healer guided him through hidden tunnels. The city above shook with war. Shouts, weapons, the crash of crystal towers falling. Iron whispered, Why are you helping me? The healer did not answer at first. Then, quietly, Because I do not want to see more death. You remind me of hope. Iron's heart softened. For a moment, he forgot the fear, the confusion, the prophecy. He was just a human walking beside someone who cared. But the hope was short-lived. The tunnels ended at a wide chamber filled with alien soldiers. Their eyes glowed cold. Their weapons raised instantly. Iron froze. His chest tightened. He turned to the healer, his voice breaking. What is this? The healer lowered its head, unable to meet his eyes. I'm sorry. The soldiers stepped closer, their weapons humming with deadly light. Betrayal cut deeper than any blade. You used me, Iron whispered, his voice trembling with anger and disbelief. You promised to help me. The healer's voice cracked. I had no choice. My people, my family, they will die if I do not give you to them. Iron shook his head, his fists clenched. So I was never a friend, just a bargain. The healer's glow dimmed, as if ashamed. Forgive me. But Iron could not. The soldiers seized him, pulling him toward the surface. The ground shook with every explosion above. The war had reached its peak. Alien banners of light and shadow burned in the air. Both factions screamed one name, the name they had given him, Savior. Dragged onto a massive platform, Iron found himself before two armies. Thousands of aliens, their weapons glowing, their voices rising in a storm of belief and hatred. On one side stood the golden elder who had first pointed at him, declaring him the chosen one. On the other side stood shadowed leaders, their eyes like burning coals. Both sides demanded the same thing. Him. The air itself trembled with tension. The storm above cracked with lightning. And in the middle of it all, Iron stood helpless, his arms bound, his heart burning with anger and fear. The elder raised its hand, pointing at him again. The crowd roared with hope. The shadow leader lifted its weapon, pointing at him as well. The crowd roared with rage. Iron's voice broke through the noise. Stop. I'm not your savior. I'm just a man who doesn't even belong here. But no one listened. The armies shouted louder, their weapons ready, their eyes fixed on him. The prophecy had consumed them all. And then the healer, his only friend, his betrayer, stepped forward. It looked at him with eyes full of tears of light. Please, it whispered, say yes. Choose one side. Only then, maybe, there can be peace. Iron's chest ached. His mind screamed. If he chose one side, the other would be destroyed. If he chose neither, both would kill each other, and him. He realized there was no escape. The prophecy was not his choice anymore. It had become a trap. The storm cracked again, louder than before. Energy burned through the sky. The armies raised their weapons in unison. Iron's body trembled. He did not want this. He never asked for this. And yet, here he was, standing on a platform, forced to decide the fate of a world that was not his. The healer's last words pierced the silence. I'm sorry, but this is the only way to save my people. And then, with a single gesture, the soldiers forced Iron to his knees. The crowd roared. The war was seconds away. And Iron realized, with crushing fear, his betrayal was not only by the healer. It was by fate itself. The storm was alive. Lightning cracked above the floating city. Towers burned. Thousands of aliens stood ready to kill each other, and all of them waited for one man's choice. Iron. He stood in the center of the great platform, his hands bound, his body trembling. The golden elder glared at him with burning eyes. The shadow leader stared with hatred. Both sides shouted, both sides demanded, both sides believed. Savior, one army roared. Curse, the other screamed. Iron's heart pounded so hard he could hear nothing else. His mind was drowning. He wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. He wanted to wake up, but this was no dream. He was just a man, a lost human. Yet here he was, standing at the edge of a war that could end an entire world. The healer, the alien who betrayed him, stood at his side, its glow faint with guilt. Please, it whispered, choose. If you don't, they will destroy everything. Iron's breath shook. And if I choose, one side still dies. Is that peace? The healer lowered its head. Sometimes survival is the only peace we can find. The armies lifted their weapons. The platform shook. The storm above screamed with thunder. Time was ending. Iron's chest burned again. The same fire that had stopped the blade, the same fire that showed him visions of war. He felt it rising, alive, powerful. For a moment, fear took him. If he used it, would it destroy them all? And then he remembered Earth. He remembered the blue sky, his home, his family, the human spirit of survival, the stubborn, fragile, unbreakable will of his people. No, he whispered. His voice shook at first, then grew stronger. I won't be your weapon. I won't be your savior. I will be something else. The aliens fell silent. Thousands of glowing eyes locked on him. Even the storm seemed to pause. With all his strength, Iron broke free from the soldier's grip. His voice echoed through the platform, raw and human. I will not choose war. I will not kill for you. I will not be a prophecy. I am not your savior. I am human, and I will stand as human. The crowd erupted with shouts, confusion, anger. Some lowered their weapons, moved by his defiance. Others screamed with rage, ready to strike. The elder's golden light flared, blinding. Then you are nothing, it thundered. The shadow leader's voice cut through the storm. Then you are ours to destroy. The two armies surged forward. Iron closed his eyes. The fire in his chest burst free, not in violence, but in light. A wave of energy pulsed outward, forcing both armies back. Weapons flew from their hands. The ground shook with power. For a single heartbeat, everything stopped. The alien stared at him with fear, with awe, with silence. Iron opened his eyes. His body shook with exhaustion, but he stood tall. If you want to fight, he shouted, then fight without me, but I will not be part of your war. The armies froze. Some soldiers dropped their weapons completely, stepping back. Others shouted, demanding blood. The division grew sharper, louder, more dangerous. And then the sky itself split open. A massive shadow fell over the city. Something far larger than their floating towers descended through the storm. Not alien ships, not storm clouds. Something else. A structure, vast, dark, endless, cut through the sky like a blade. Its surface glowed with a light Iron had never seen before. Cold, metallic, ancient. The armies fell silent. Even the elder and the shadow leader stopped, their eyes filled with sudden fear. The healer whispered in a trembling voice, "Not us, not our kind." Iron stared upward, his chest tight. "Then, who are they?" The dark structure opened, and beams of light poured down, scanning the city, scanning him. And in that moment, Iron realized the most terrifying truth of all. He thought he was lost among aliens. He thought he was trapped in their prophecy. But the real danger had only just arrived.